I'm really happy to be here, and of course, I use this situation to say a big thank you to Paul and organizer, all people who helped me even today to set up microphones and my presentation. So thank you all, and big applause for ACE conference organizers. Thank you very much. I would like to have it interactive. I would like to also that you, after this talk, maybe will be a little bit inspired what to do in your organization, where to maybe look for some data research, how to measure your agility. What does it mean that organization is agile, and what does it mean organizational agility? I can answer it in the shortened words. It's like ability to rapid respond to the market while having at the same time risk and complexity. So when your organization is able to respond very quickly to the market and it's adaptive, innovative, and having in mind risk and in the complex environment, you may say that your organization is quite agile and your organization agility is in the very good shape, let's say. Okay, who am I? I'm local. I'm from Krakow, from Poland. Recently, I've been a professional Scrum trainer for 2 years from Scrum.org. But in general, 19 years of professional experience, what reminds me how quite old am I. I'm also a university lecturer. I'm specialized in Agile leadership. I fell in love really in Agile leadership. And it is very connected with agility and measuring agility. Why? Because, of course, Agile leadership is strongly connected and influential to agility in the organization and how to measure it, how to approach to measurements. Also, I specialize in agile transformations, and this is also the part of the talk. I'm also mentor and coach. I train people, mentor people, especially in the past in women in tech. But this is not about me, but is something that should be helpful for you. How many of you are done with your agile transformation? I mean, but you think that you are quite agile as your organization? Hands up. Okay, few of you. Thank you very much. How many of you think that you are just in the progress of agile transformation? Majority, I would say. And how many of you are still working in traditional organization and you just start thinking about being agile or doing agile? Okay, also a few of them. So majority of you think that you are in the progress of your agile transformation. All right, then. So I would like you, my dear audience, to have like 2 minutes, and during those 2 minutes, please find your neighbor. If you don't have to pair, just maybe free up with someone else and talk. How is really right now your agile transformation? What are you doing at this moment? And just share information. 2 minutes, and I will tell you when it's over. Okay? Let's talk. Thank you very much. Well, when you share your opinion, maybe it would be easier for you just to think, and after sharing your thoughts, maybe it will be easier to think over your transformation a bit more. And I'm really curious if your organization is still traditional. I mean, do you follow and measure like scope, resources? I mean people, of course, but in the traditional organizations, people usually are called as resources, or you are in the hybrid organization. What I mean the mixture of the traditional organization and this adaptive, very fast, responsive organization, which means agile. I'm really curious in what sort of organization you are working. So who works in the traditional organization, focus really on projects, budget, resources, scope, etc. So like iron triangle. Hands up. Some of them, very good. And hybrid organization, mixture of projects and adaptiveness. Okay, majority. And really agile organization? Very nice, some of you. Good to you. So my point is, in whatever organization you work, you can always start measure your agility. You can always start measure your value. Don't worry if you are now in the very traditional organization. Maybe it's okay for you. Maybe you are not in the such complex domain and other organization, and they just need to be more adaptive to the market or customers. Don't worry about it. You can always start measure it. It's really funny. Yeah, thank you for that. So, as I said before, you can always start measure your agility, measure how you can deliver value to your customers, whatever you do and whatever process you use at this moment. And please remember that Agile and agility is not the end state. It's not your goal, it's a journey. Or it's a bit of your goal, but I mean there is no end state. There is no like, okay, we are right now agile, and we are done, and everything is fine. No, it's like a continuous improvement, and still it is the journey. Okay, I would like you to also have 1 or 2 minutes. We'll see, and please find your pair, your neighbor, as previously, and just share a little bit. What do you measure at this moment to prove your agile transformation makes sense, or if you are not in the agile transformation right now in the process? So let's talk. What do you measure in general as an organization, not only one single team, but in general, like a set of teams or an organization? 2 minutes, start talk. What do you measure at this moment? Okay, and do you think that what do you measure is really efficient and telling you something about value delivery? Who thinks so? Interesting. Very few of them. And how do you know that? Of course, I don't right now expect the answer because it is a short talk, not the workshop. But we will be practicing, of course, all those things during my workshop. So usually organizations, what do they measure? They measure activities and outputs. Of course, those numbers, months are just as an example presented here, because it is like just only visualization, but always organization, they tend to be like more efficient, more and more productive, and that's okay, that's fine. And they measure usually activities and outputs. What does it mean? For example, one of the output is velocity. And it is perfectly fine to measure the velocity, but what do you think? If velocity tells you something about value delivery? I think not. It's telling you about how the team are capable of delivering their items, product backlog items, but not about measuring value. So I often, why I'm serving my customers, and very often I just see the one perfect measure for them, velocity. And I think, okay, measure it. Very nice, very good. But don't calculate it, don't focus on it too much. The same with scope, the same with budget. Of course, having a mind in budget is really important. But maybe let's focus on different measures. Maybe focus on measuring value, measuring agility, not about measuring only activities and outputs. They are important. Don't, of course, get rid of them. Of course, not after this talk. I wouldn't like to encourage you, but I would like you to think about, but not only activities like doing something, delivering something. They are not only those one things that are meaningful. Yes, and what about value? You can start measure outcomes and impact, while outputs, so those outputs are rather the result of what our systems produce. Outcomes are rather the results of our behavior activities, like humans, and impact, so what really does matter and has some influence on value and value delivery by our organization. So please have in mind that not only velocity or product backlog delivery is really important, but always some things that have some impact of our business and our business agility. What is helpful? So I would like you to introduce Scrum.org framework evidence-based management. How many of you are aware of evidence-based management? Very good, some of you. Who of you has ever tried to implement evidence-based management? 1, 2, 3 people. Very good. I would love to, of course, share some thoughts and experience with you. We can do it, of course, during the break, or we can do it, of course, during my workshop, which is at 2 p.m., I believe. Evidence-based management comes from medicine. This is the approach that you can measure, have the measurements, so this is the result, this is the fact, and then you can adapt. So after inspection, you have adaptation, so you can adapt to the facts and try to run some experiments, and then again, measure, observe, and make decision based on next facts. So for example, when you have something to cure, to treat, for example, my thyroid doesn't work very well, so I'm taking some hormones. And after taking the specific dose of hormones every day, I need to just take a blood check each 3 months. And after this, we, with the doctor, we inspect results and adapt to based on these facts, but based on those results. And those approach from medicine was also implemented in software development, but in general, not only in software development, but also in many different areas that are interested in Agile, because right now Agile is applied in many different domains, not only in software development. And what is important? It is important that making decisions and measuring agility, measuring value based on facts, not assumptions, not predictions. If you work in the very traditional organization, very often you just make assumptions. Unfortunately, yes, I was working many times in very traditional organizations, and we made some assumptions for example, like prediction for year 2, 3, even 5 years ahead. We don't know the future so well. We don't know also the facts during this period. And when you think in terms of agile mindsets, that you need to take your all accurate and your all current results and then inspect to adapt, your attitude and your mindset is completely different when you expect some predictions and expect some results in 5 years ahead and follow the plan. So this is very nice and effective way. I apply it in several organizations. I'm still implementing it in new ones. So first of all, you measure your current value, you measure your time to market, ability to innovate, so how your organization is able to innovate, how is adaptive and responsive to the market, and then also about unrealized value. So you are looking for gaps and looking where and when you can always even take more value from your product or from your organization. And all of them are really strongly related with each other. It is not like they are like separately just put and there is no connection. There is connection between them. Some of them measures, of course, activities. Some of them measures outputs like throughput or, for example, some cycle time. Some of them can measure market share even when it comes to especially unrealized value. And some of them, for example, measure your customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, and revenue per employee as well. And that's why they are very comprehensive a bit, maybe. There is like some dozen of them. But at the same time, they can measure right now what you have at this moment. And you can make a decision. Like in medicine, you can right now make a decision based on facts. So, for example, run experiments, take some area to improve. So just think what we do as an organization, what are you going to improve? So let's imagine you would like to improve your time to market, for example, because your core customers exactly expect that you will be faster to the market. Let's imagine this situation. And you as having those facts that you are not so responsive to the market, you can start run an experiments before the next check. But don't run too many experiments, because otherwise you will be not able to assess which experiment was helpful and which not. So be careful of also with running too many things at the same one time. And then again, measure your time to market, inspect and adapt. Yes, and I think that's pretty all. I'm finishing like 6 minutes before my time box. Hopefully, Paul is perfectly fine. You can always reach me and we can talk more about specific metrics, specific measurements during all my workshop in 1.5 hours or during breaks. So also like final words, there are several metrics for key value areas to measure, and you can measure how your organization is responsive to the market, how how it's your current value as the organization. Not only thinking in terms of your delivery, but also thinking in terms of agile organizational business, of course, and delivery value, not only delivery projects or even products, but also about delivering value and your responsiveness to the market. Thank you. I think that's all, and the reason of this talk was to inspire you and looking more for answers in terms of evidence-based management approach and in terms of your business agility and change thinking about how to measure and how to maybe open maybe more broadly eyes on something different. Thank you.
Thank you.